Welcome back to a new mic'd up video. I'm going to grab the bar, start warming up. I tried to start this mic'd up video 2 minutes ago, but I was just standing here and I figured I need to at least start moving the bar a little bit. So this is a Friday session, and the goal of this session is to essentially do nothing, but is to move around a little bit to get ready for tomorrow. So I'm not doing anything that's too heavy. I'm planning on doing muscle snatches up to about 70, and then some snatches to like 80 or maybe 90 kilos, and then a couple clean and jerks up to 100 probably at the most, just to move through the range of motion, just to feel good. If I do sound like I am terribly sick, thankfully I'm actually not. So I'm recording this on Friday, but last Saturday I had a terrible fever, but I somehow still maxed out, and I was feeling it come on early on Saturday, but I basically like powered through it for the session, and I actually hit like basically all the numbers I wanted to hit on that day. I felt it more in the detriment to like the fever or whatever I ended up getting in the clean jerk, less than a snatch. I was actually able to get up to 130, but for whatever reason, I felt like death that night. I went through all the stages of being cold and hot and whatnot, and then Saturday I just kind of felt normally sick. But really by Monday I was fine. I just started to get like a lot of phlegm and stuff. So whatever I had, it went through my system pretty quick. One of the benefits of being a teacher is whatever's going around I'm going to get. So I kind of get that extra boost to my immune system because I'm just going to get sick eventually. So you kind of just bounce back from it, I think, faster, probably than what normal people would, but I also don't know. I probably also have pretty good genetics for it because my dad's also a teacher and my mom's a nurse. So between those two people and them being generally healthy people, they still are now, but like when they had me, gave me some pretty good genetics to be a healthy person in any context. But I got through all that, but I sound a little off now, maybe, potentially. I don't know. To me, I sound off. But I could sound a little bit off with my voice because I was starting to lose it. Thankfully, it held on this week. Usually when I start to feel it getting gone from just like my sinuses draining, because that's mostly what it was, is I was blowing my nose a lot and coughing up like phlegm and stuff. But thankfully, it was like productive in the sense that like, I was getting everything out. But, when you're going through that phase of an illness, it's not productive to be a teacher in the sense that if I'm talking all day long, it's going to make, my voice worse, or at least give me the potential to lose it. But I've gone through this a couple times now since I've become a PE teacher, and thankfully this time I was able to avoid it because I have lost my voice before. When I was in the gym, and it hurts really bad to try to yell when your voice is gone, and it's not anything that you can really do about it when it happens, because you usually don't, at least for me, I didn't really feel bad enough to like take off work, but you still can do everything else, but you just can't like yell, which is in a gymnasium that's loud with kids that are running around screaming and stuff. It becomes an important thing to be able to do to be heard, so you can go through whatever you have planned on that day. But thankfully I avoided that. Maybe I'm not making it, or maybe I'm making it worse here, but honestly, like talking now, it doesn't feel bad. It's mostly like if I were to yell or something, that's where I feel it a little bit. But yesterday was probably the worst voice wise, but today it honestly felt fine. And today was a pretty normal day of teaching where I had classes in all my slots today. So like if it was going to go out, it was going to be on a day like today or yesterday. And I've gotten past that. And thankfully, a lot of like the phlegm and stuff that I had been coughing up and blowing out of my nose has been productively taken care of for the most part. I haven't had to take cold medicine yesterday or today. The rest of the days when I have been taking it was mostly just to make sure I'm trying to get everything out. But even like just being sick on Saturday was just bizarre because I still lifted fine and I hit most of the numbers that I wanted to hit. I think the clean jerk I didn't do like the last heavy attempt, not heavyish, because I think I got up to 150, but I don't know if I tried. I think I even tried to clean and jerk 160 twice, but I missed the jerk the first time and Clark the jerk on the second one. So even like clean and jerk wise, I was moving fine for the most part, especially because I caught the balance of both the 160 cleans, and I haven't done it really more than probably once. I think I did it before I started this 5-week prep, and then obviously in the summer, I had done it a lot. So it's not like a unique number for me, but to hit it with that ease is a good indicator, and that's kind of like a good benchmark where I attempted it on the first one, and I think if I'm like really hyped up and I open at probably like 158, I think I'll be good for a jump above there. My tentative numbers, I've kind of mapped it out. I've talked about the snatch a lot. The clean and jerk, I kind of leave it up in the air until I get closer to the competition. I usually only plan the first attempt in the clean and jerk and then kind of go from there. But usually I jump up to something, you know, obviously based on the first attempt. But for snatches, the numbers are pretty set to 121, 126, 130. Because how I view it is like at worst, if I get to 126 and I miss it and I have to repeat it, that's still a competition PR because my last one was my competition best at 125. So if I'm getting that, then I'm certainly happy. I think I have a good chance to be able to do 130. So that's why, you know, it is a planned third attempt. But I think I'm in a better state or a better chance of hitting it than I was in the last comp because I actually had that plan to go 120, 125, 130 in the last comp that I did. I missed 125 the first time, so I repeated it to make it. But honestly, I feel at least snatch-wise in a better state. And I think the clean and jerk, it will be interesting to see how I feel on that day. But I'll probably have my last warm-up at 150 and then open at 158. Because I think in the last one I opened at 157. Because I think I went 157 to 162. But I want to go to 163 this time. So 158 to 163. If all that all goes well, then I'll have to figure out something. I think it would be really nice to be able to get to 165 just because of the aesthetics of the plates on the side. I did try that in the last competition and I missed it. It was actually decently close on the jerk if I remember. But I would like to be able to get to that 165 at a minimum. If I hit 163 and you know it feels good and I'm confident with it, then I may take a bigger jump up to probably not to 170, but probably something like 166 or 7 or maybe 8. Depending on the ease of it. But it's kind of like the same thing with the snatch. Like if I hit that 163, it's the heaviest clean and jerk I would have ever done. So I've been lifetime PR in any context. And anything more than that would be a bonus. And that's kind of how the last competition went. Is I hit my opener and then I hit 162, which is 2 kilos more than I had done. 1 or 2 kilos more than I had done in the gym, in competition, anywhere. So I definitely get like a boost, and the best I had done in prep was like 154. So I definitely get a lot of extra aggression in the competition. Not so much for the snatch, but definitely for the clean and jerk. So I think it just makes the clean easier. Hit the bar a couple more times and then start doing a couple muscle snatches. I'll start a new clip for that, but I'll probably go up to about 70 today because tomorrow's my last heavy day of the week. Hopefully I haven't already said that because in my first 2 minutes when I originally, or before I reset it, I had mentioned that. But tomorrow I'm going to go and basically just see how heavy I can go in both lifts and hopefully have no misses. The plan is to go to the actual gym to do the maxes because there is an illegal bar just like the one I'm using here there. So I'll use that competition illegal bar, not the bar that I normally use there because that one's a training one. So the knurling's a bit smoother. So just get the full feel of what I'll be using. I also realized that I really did sign up for the competition. In fact, I signed up for it so much that I signed up for it twice by mistake. I was having some issues with the purchase on the website when I had done it originally, and it went through twice. So hopefully I get my $50 back, but thankfully I'm not strapped for $50. But I don't think they'll be difficult about that. I don't think I'd be able to like refund the original, but like if I have a duplicate, then if they give me too much grief, then I'll just do a chargeback. But I've never had an issue. I've done a lot of my meets, most of my meets, I'd say all but like all but 2 of my competitions at this place. So I certainly, trust them enough and I don't have any reason not to. And it's $50. So it's not going to make or break for me, but get to about 70 in the muscle snatch, do a couple snatches and do a couple clean jerks, but really just kind of loosen up the body and prepare it for tomorrow. This is similar to what the next Friday will look like as well, probably even lighter than that. I know before my last comp, I actually took 2 full days off of training before I went to the competition. So that is something to keep in mind, that I was very fresh before that. But what's nice, so next Friday, there is no school for my job for whatever, or for reasons within the district. It's not a planned scheduled day, but there's reasons with it, and there's no reason to get into that. It's nothing like seriously wrong. It's just for a a death with someone related to the district. But thankfully, it's not. I sound really like morbid saying this. It's just, it wasn't like an unexpected thing necessarily. So it wasn't like, yeah, it's sad and stuff, but it wasn't like a sudden tragedy with that. But let's not dwell on negative things like that. But there's no school that next Friday, so I do have the ability to really rest up on that day. So I'm ready for the next Saturday, which is when the competition is. But the last couple sessions will be pretty easy stuff. Like I said, tomorrow is going to be the heaviest day, really, of the whole block, theoretically, and it's 7 days out. Then Saturday, it'll kind of just be the same kind of lifts, but a lot of it will be much more conservative. And then the last day where I'm doing snatch and clean and jerk together will be Wednesday, then like a front squat, theoretically Thursday and Friday. But like you would have seen from the last video, it's like I plan like a session out that's heavier than what is necessarily possible on a given day. And if I feel like crap, then I'm going to cut it off faster than I would normally, because I want to be as recovered as possible. And it doesn't matter if I hit a certain weight on a Thursday before a Saturday competition. I want to be prepared for the competition. So being as recovered and trying to avoid any sort of stupid sort of stress or injury or anything like that is obviously going to be ideal. But I've rambled on enough. I'm going to get my lentes off and get the greens on and do a couple muscle snatches there. Probably throw my knee wraps on if they're wrapped up. If not, I might just go fully naked today, because it shouldn't be heavy, so I should be able to go through it. But we'll see how I'm feeling. Let's get the clip stopped, and then restarted, and move on to when I have some greens on and get moving. The other thing I did was I guess it's Friday now, so on Wednesday, I worked up to my last warm-up in the clean and jerk and my opening snatch. I turned off the music for both of those. So I'm not sure if I'll do that tomorrow for my heavy session, because sometimes if there's music playing at the gym, a lot of the times I'll listen to music not to, obviously I'm going to get a little bit of a boost from it, but to kind of drown out whatever music happens to be playing if I don't want to listen to that. And also because I get distracted if people are talking and stuff, because apparently I probably have ADHD or something. So it's nice to have that in, to get that tunnel focus in, even if I'm not blaring. But that could be an adjustment tomorrow. If there's nobody in there, then I could take out the headphones and not have any music playing theoretically, but we'll kind of play that by ear. But I did that Wednesday, where for my top snatch and my top clean and jerk, I took out the music for it, maybe even for the top two. I think just for the top set that I did, just to feel what it's like. But it's one of those things that I don't necessarily worry about too much for any competition ever, because when you're doing one, you're so stimulated at the competition, it's like you have music playing anyway. So I'm never like, oh my gosh, I don't have my bass and my break chord playing in the background. I don't have this song playing. Like, I'm already like wired, because I'm already taking a ton of caffeine. I'm already nervous for the competition. So like all of that energy that you have in the competition, it helps for it. And it's like having music playing without it actually playing. But it's a different feeling. And I almost feel like if I had music, it might put me over the top of being like too anxious with it. But competitions are good for that, because thankfully in the last couple, I've gotten more used to them. So I'm more used to like the timing and how they move with that. But it's really just getting and hitting that first snatch, and then really everything else kind of plays out how you want. That's where I get the most nerves, is for that opening one, because I have bombed out in a competition before, about 3 or 4 competitions ago, but it's because I'm bad at the snatch. But thankfully in the last couple, I've hit openers, and then you kind of go from there with what you can hit. I don't know if I've ever been 3 for 3 or ever been 6 for 6, but honestly, if you're doing that, you're probably not lifting heavy enough. You should always want to have more, or at least push to close to your limit, unless you're new, I suppose. But even then, you should kind of push as hard as you can. That's what you get 6 attempts for. Hit your openers and then go crazy. But probably why I'm not a weightlifting coach. So let's just do here. And I was thinking about this as well. I'll probably just do muscle snatches and some power clean and press because I want to simulate what I'll do next Friday too. And because I'm going to go super heavy tomorrow. So I don't even want to do full snatches and clean jerks today just to loosen up and be ready for tomorrow. And I don't want to be out here too long. Oh. I need to put chalk on. It's kind of funny. It feels so weird not having chalk on my hands. It feels like the bar is just going to shoot out of my hands, but it's only 43. So not too bad. Been having a little bit of issue in my lower back. Nothing that's really limited me, but it's something that I've been feeling. And I think that's one of the reasons that my workout yesterday didn't go as well because I was kind of feeling that. And I think it's probably from that big squat that I did on Tuesday because that was pretty darn maximal. I was quite happy to be able to hit that. And I'm sure I've talked about it in a video with them, but in a video about that squat. But before I started to do that 495 squat, it was like I was nervous about it. I was like, I don't know if I can do this. And usually I'm able to at least delude myself before I do a big squat like that. That like, all right, I'm gonna do this no matter what. Or obviously, in the back of my mind, knowing I'm not going to kill myself doing it. If I get really stuck, I'm not going to keep trying to push through if it's dangerous. If I'm starting to like pitch forward too much or something. But I was like right before it, I was like, feels kind of heavy, but we're going to give it a whirl. And I got to that sticking point. I was able to get through it because with the previous week, I tried to do that 230 back squat, and I got to that halfway point and just got stuck. But hitting that 225, I mean, everything that I'm doing in the preparation is higher than what I had done when I did my last competition. So I mean, even if this competition doesn't go great, or like even if I bomb out every single lift, like I am getting literally stronger competition to competition because of just how the prep is and how routine these lifts are becoming. And it bodes well that training in general is going well. So it's exciting for the next phase. But we're gonna add a little bit of weight. I'm gonna reset the clip because I don't want these individual for editing purposes be too long and to have some sort of cutoff there. But I think I get 20 minutes for a clip, so I don't think I can ramble on quite that long and make a 10-hour video of me just doing a couple of light sets of muscle snatches. But I'm sure I'd probably figure out a way with my verbal diarrhea. But we're gonna get some more weight on there. I'll probably just add the 10s and just get up to 61 kilos and just go from there, since I'm only going to go to 70. Then we'll strip it off and do some presses and just really get nice and loosey-goosey for tomorrow. But more stuff to talk about in the next clip. I weighed myself before I ate some food when I got home, and was basically at 105 kilos, like just slightly over, so 232 pounds. Or at least that's what I weighed, so that's why I'm slightly over 105 kilos, because 105 is 231, if I remember my kilos to pounds correctly. But kind of light, so I'm trying to just eat normally. I'm not trying to cut down, obviously, because I'm going to be competing as a 109, so I don't need to cut down at all. There's no reason for me to try to do like a big cut to 102 because I'm an average weightlifter, so it literally doesn't matter. Whatever weight I go to, I'm fine with. I've weighed about the same at most competitions. I think actually the one that I bombed out at, I accidentally cut down. I just didn't really, I think the nerves of the competition, I didn't eat as much prior. So I was actually pretty close to 102. I think I weighed 103. I might have actually weighed about 102. I think if I remember correctly, I was actually really close to it, because I think the guy who was weighing in was asking me if I wanted to take sweatpants off or something, but I was a 109 then, and I just didn't eat for a while, so I think that contributed to me not lifting as well. Maybe I hit some snatches and I missed some clean and jerks, but I remember not feeling good that day because I had dieted like an idiot without really trying to. But I'm going to continue to eat normally, hopefully, get up to 235 at a minimum, not lose any weight, but I'm not really worried too much about that. Just eat like normal. I think my diet and stuff's been pretty good. But one positive being sick like I was last Saturday is I probably won't get sick again. knock on, I think this is wood, some sort of wood material, but hopefully I don't get sick again, because I've been sick twice during this prep. It's just that time of year, but thankfully both times I was able to get through it pretty well, and now I should be 100% fresh for the competition, fully deloaded from airborne illnesses and whatnot. But this is just 61, so we'll do it for 1 or 2. We'll see how it feels. Do one more. Bounce is crazy in here, but I am going to play some pickleball tomorrow morning too. I've been doing that actually before all my Saturday sessions, every Saturday for several weeks now. But actually it kind of helps because it's not like I'm going out there trying to tear my ACL. We play for like an hour and a half, and then it's like a good like morning session, I guess. But it's nothing that's like crazy high intensity. It's actually just more of like a mobility modality for me. Let's load this on here and just keep going. Get it up to 70, but it's been really nice. It's a fun game, and it's one that I would say it's good cardio, but I don't really breathe super hard while I'm doing it. I breathe harder now when I'm trying to talk and not let myself actually breathe and still trying to get phlegm out of my body. But it's like, it's just fun. It's a good, just like lifetime leisure activity. And I certainly don't do enough of that because I just spend my time in the gym teaching, walking around at work, and that's really, my main methods of movement, which albeit is a lot, but it's nice to like have something that's not really like, I don't care if I'm good at pickleball or not. Thankfully, all the people we play with we're all getting progressively better, so the games get progressively more fun because we're all able to, not just keep hitting it into the net. We're able to get it over to each other, and all the people we play with, we're actually a pretty reasonably athletic people, which is nice. But yeah, we're at the 70 here, and then talk a bit more because I haven't even mentioned the creatine. Not the creatine that you may be thinking of, just normal creatine. Just do a single here. That's bad. But we'll start and stop the clip because I'm going to do some power clean presses, and I got to move the mic a little bit anyway, so I'm not pinching myself and killing myself with the bar when it's resting in my front rack. So that was just 70, pretty easy muscle snatch, something I've done a million times, but it's nice to kind of do with no equipment and just kind of just get some movement in. That's the best part about muscle snatches. You don't have to think about it, and it's still a really good movement to do. But on to some pressing. So I suppose I got 2 things to mention in this clip before I do a quick little press session here. But I've been watching a lot of Sam Solik, and it's weird because I don't care about bodybuilding stuff really at all. But like watching it, it's like watching Bob Ross. Like it's something that I don't do or I would have a good skill at. I think I have good genetics for building muscle, but like obviously getting to be like an actual bodybuilder, I don't really have the mindset because I just don't enjoy that kind of training, and I wouldn't be able to like work really hard, even if I went down the route that he has went with his supplementation and stuff. But it is just like, it's weird. It's just like watching Bob Ross. Like I can't paint, or I've never had the ability to be good at art, but like it's that same kind of just like relaxing, something you can play in the background while you're doing other stuff. But I don't know. I wouldn't say randomly popped on because he's, exploding on the internets, but it's interesting just to see that, and also to realize, I think I might have mentioned this in my last mic'd up video, because I mentioned that he's, in the area of where I live, but I've continued to watch his stuff, and it's, I don't know. I don't want to say it's like it's great or it's great. It's just like relaxing, if anything. But I don't know. Makes me kind of want to do a little bit more hypertrophy work. I think it would benefit me in some areas, mostly in the upper body, to just make my overhead stability a little bit better. Nothing obviously to the extent where it would limit my mobility. Like I'm not going to start bench pressing a lot of stuff, but when I finish this competition, like to kind of be more thorough with my training, not necessarily that I wasn't during this prep, but to kind of go through like a squat workout and then maybe do some leg stuff after, but I probably won't do a ton of it, but maybe some. I don't know. It could be good to get a little pump, but I'm thinking less lower body, more upper body, because I get so much work with my squats and pulls and whatnot just through the weightlifting movements. But besides that, speaking of supplementation, that, I'm sure he undergoes this as well, but I actually hadn't intentionally taken creatine in a little while. Probably in the last 4 or 5 days, I started like intentionally taking it. So my pre-workout, which I actually didn't take today, I just drank some coffee before I came out here because I knew it was going to be a session like this. But most of my sessions, I'm taking my pre-workout or whatever before I come out here, and I think it does have some creatine in it. So it's not as if I'm getting none, and I eat meat and stuff. So like I'm getting some, but it wasn't like the actual 5 milligram dose that the normie take. But I was watching Seek Strength, and they were talking with the nutrition coach or whatever, and he talked about how these different athletes will take a ton of creatine, more than what I thought was normal to take. And I've been experimenting with a little bit higher of a doses because logically, if you are a larger person, you probably would benefit from increased amounts of creatine, just like you would benefit from increased amounts of just calories to maintain your mass and amounts of protein. Because like they mentioned that your protein should be at least a gram per body or per kilogram of body weight, and maybe a little bit more. But like obviously, I'm like 200. Like I mentioned at the beginning, I weigh like 232. So like getting 230 grams of protein is quite difficult to have that and then just have other foods. I think I do a decent job, but I usually kind of aim, or at least I mentally aim, because I haven't been tracking, for like close to 200. It's usually been, if I get to that, then I've usually eaten enough good foods in that day. And if I get anything more than that, then it's a bonus. But I'm sure I'm not actually like reaching those benchmarks really that close, but I'm not as concerned about that now. Just worry about trying to just eat a lot of good food and just eat as much as I can because I don't want to lose weight. But with the creatine, I've started at 5, which is what I've always taken, and I increased to 10 and to 15 and to 20. I probably won't, like, I kind of envision, like, I don't really necessarily think I would need anything more than that, because he talked about like high endurance athletes benefiting from higher amounts of it. But I would think like 15 grams would probably be fine. I kind of like added up, not necessarily to like load it up or to like cycle on. You don't really do that with creatine, but mostly just to make sure like my intestines weren't going to explode with the amount of creatine that I had. And I thought I would have more issues, but I haven't had any sort of issues with the side effects you can have from too much creatine. I don't know why. I don't know if that's going to start happening because I haven't had a lot and I'm getting more into it. Maybe that will start to counteract. But for whatever reason, I haven't had issues with it. So I'll probably maintain around there and do some more reading about potential benefits of higher amounts of it per session. But I've also experimented as well with, not really an experiment, I'm saying these like I'm trying to discover something new, but some Gatorade with my creatine that I drink while I'm working out. Because normally anytime I've had creatine in the past, I would just always have it after my training session, because my thought, or at least what I had read, is like once it's saturated in your body, it's not like a super beneficial thing, like the timing of it. But figured if I'm gonna get the most bang for it, it's gonna be during a training session potentially. But dogs outside. Sorry, here goes my ADD. But I think the most benefit probably be during the training session, just like the Gatorade that has dextrose in it would be the most beneficial during it. And I'm not doing like these crazy sessions where I'm going to necessarily benefit a ton from creatine or Gatorade and stuff like that. But as I finish this competition, get back into normal training, it's, I think, a good mindset to have, to like kind of be thinking I should be working hard enough to need to have that stuff during my training. And I suppose that's one of the goals, to have that. But I don't know. It's it's stuff I think about at sometimes. And as I get past this competition, it's kind of nice to kind of get back into the, trying to dial everything. Because like when you get closer to competition, at least I try to get as dialed in as possible with like sleep and nutrition and everything. And I kind of want to take that momentum past the competition and try to have some good training sessions after, obviously, because I'm going to keep lifting, but to just really try to maximize the gains I'm going to be getting and see if I can, put on some more mass, because that's, always the goal, to fill out 109 as much as I can until I change the weight classes again. But I know it's not an Olympic class, but I ain't going to Olympics, so I'll just keep lifting as a 109 because I think it fits my frame anyway. Because I think I hold the weight that I have pretty well, and I think I can hold a little bit more and not turn into a fat slob. And doing some bodybuilding work, it would make me look a little bit better aesthetically, which I think would be better for lifting, because nothing's worse than looking at an average lifter that is fat and sloppy. And you want to see someone, if I'm not going to lift big weights, I at least want to look decent. So that will help with that. But it also helped with, just getting better at the lifts too, having a bit more muscle mass. But we'll just do a couple presses here. Mostly just as a stretch. Cracking all over my joints. We'll just keep loading the weights on. I don't envision I'm going to do anything more than 70. So we'll just go up to 60, 61. Actually felt really good. Pleasantly surprised. I thought my joints would be a little bit more sore. Hopefully this doesn't sound too bad. The mic is just across from me on the shelf in front of me. But one of the things I always forget about when I am sick, when you're taking cold medicine, it has ibuprofen in it. So sometimes you get this like weird state where you're like hyper recovered for a training session, even though like you're still kind of recovering because you're trying to use the cold medicine to, help with the symptoms, but then your muscles and joints feel really good because you're on, lots of ibuprofen. So then usually when you stop taking the cold medicine, then you get a little bit more sore the next day because you realize, how your body actually feels. So you kind of go through that trick. I mean, like you literally do feel better because you have less inflammation and stuff like that. So it does make sense why you would feel better, but something to be aware of when you're going through an illness and you're taking a bunch of cold medicine. I probably will end up taking some ibuprofen before the competition because you want to cover all your bases. Make sure, nothing feels achy if you can prevent it. But it's one of those things you obviously don't want to take all the time. But in certain situations, it could be a performance enhancer for sure. But normal training, you certainly don't want to abuse it because you want to feel your body. Pause. But you want to be able to feel how your body is handling your training and how your joints feel. So that's just 70. This will be the last one I do. So a nice little light session there. This will be what I'll do the day before the competition. If I do any training at all, it's one of those things that if I want to come out and move around and do some of these, I have something that I can do that's planned. But if I don't do anything, this isn't a make or break session for sure. It's more just active recovery and make sure that I'm not going to do too much. So yeah, I don't know. I talked about a lot in that one. I know this will probably be quite long for how short of an actual training session it is, but it's kind of nice to take advantage of one of these because I'm breathing way too hard for the amount of work that I did, but I'm trying not to sniff with my nose, so it's making me more of a mouth breather than I normally am. But one of the benefits of doing these mic'd up videos with a lighter session like this is I'll still do some workout here, but it's not one that's going to be a detriment or like I'm not worried about like how me talking through training or different topics is going to impact my next set. I'm just going to go through and do it. So it's nice to have these. That's why a lot of them are on lighter and easier sessions because there's less pressure and I can focus more on the talking and not necessarily, 100% focus on the lifting. Although I think I have done a really heavy session with one of these before, but most of the time, or most of them haven't been. But that's going to be it for this one. So I'm done for the day. I'm going to go in and eat. I made in the pressure cooker a bunch of chicken with some broth in it, some olive oil and vegetables and brown rice. So very healthy. I'll have to put some Chick-fil-A sauce or something on it to make it less healthy so I get more calories so I don't get too skinny. I'm not trying to be no skinny 102, trying to get yacked. But we'll go in and eat some of that and get rested up for some pickleball in the morning. That's it for this one. Talk to you on the next one. Hope you all enjoyed. Peace.